Hey, muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Y como siempre, muchas gracias to all for your guys' words, prayers, and for everything you guys express and send my way. And of course, for your time from the corazón. I thank everybody. Gracias. Now, before I get into the story in hand, if I don't sound like myself today, do please forgive me. I just had a long day. Some thrombosis acted up on me, and the head pain. It's always there, but sometimes it's just maximized to the most. So, anyways, I had to go through that belly button shots and just all that extra stuff today. So a little bit earlier, I just got home, so I don't want to put this together just so that as long as I can, I'm able to sit down and do it. Again, gracias. And to get into the story on him, today I want to talk about wet or sherm. And one of the things that I personally think it was one of his downfalls. And again, before I get into Wedo's story, this one, I just talked to that person and I'm waiting on black and white, right? So that it's just not hearsay, he said, she said stuff. But anyways, this was 2005, towards the end maybe, at the latest 2006, right? No, but it was 2005. And anyways, we're on Seaside, right? In Pelican Bay, there was a Tejano out there. He was sindicato, not just a Tejano, right? But, he's just, you know, one of them lucky draws, right? He ended up where Sherm was when he had a grip of power, right? When it came up there, a lot of say so. So he was there for a little short term, I believe. But after the shoot, he was gonna go to high desert. So he started finessing it to get into conversations with Sherm, and the vato was a maizerón. He had means to make feria when it came out too over there in the state. But it's well known that it's always told to us, we run across a sindicato anywhere. There's no buts or ifs, It's boogie time, it's go time. But again, he started conversing with Wedo, and they came to an agreement where Wedo was going to be getting blessed so that he's able to do his time and go home, right? So, time passed by, and he eventually hit the linea, right? In high desert. And, there was a lot of people that were jealous of Wedo just keeping it a buck, right? And when we're there was a lot of talk when it came to this vato being permitted to walk, right? More so because the way that they be acting up when it comes to camaradas or pilis, they don't touch their heart for our gente. You could say that. So Boxer from Avenues, when he was still cool, he was just one of those that he liked being in the mix. He liked his name to be, you know, to be on people's vocals, he's just one of those. So, where this vato was at, he had certain individuals on the Güero that were watching, make sure that he was able to do his thing so he could touch base with Güero. And if something was to go wrong, they were to step in. Again, Boxer had his sobrinos, or, his soldados on the yard. And he wanted a little piece of that pie, right? But, for those that know Güero at this time, you weren't going to tell him what to do. And you weren't going to tell him where to break off and how to break off, or none of that, right? Again, I think it was one of them things that led to what ended up happening right down the line. But unfortunately for Weddle, there was a lot of questioning. You know, it wasn't out in the open like directly to him, but when you're sitting back there with them, of course, you hear all that he, all that comadre, metiche stuff, right? And Boxer is just one of those two that he didn't have a problem letting it know how he felt, as probably you guys know later down the line what happened with him and his own homeboy. But anyways, Weddle said chales, point blank, no. He breaks off who he feels that should get a piece or that got it coming. Some sense in them words, right? So of course, when you do a snapback to another brother like that and it becomes public, of course it's going to touch their pride and it becomes a problem. Now, that interview Weddle did with I forgot, I don't even know what that TV show or I don't know what that show was he did that he was directing it to Goofy and Miguel from Chelltown, ex Beelies, basically telling them they weren't walking back, right? That wasn't a problem. That wasn't an issue. That was actually sectioned by other carnales, right? That he could go and do that. The problem was that interview he did in classification where he's openly admitting the organization and the inner works to some sense. Of course, not like that, right? But when you're in something that is a snake, eat snake world, and they're just looking for that opening to strike, of course it became a problem, right? Because this is a squad, right? A gooner that's asking this, and he's replying back, right? When he should have been like the first interview, right? I don't touch on that, and left it alone. But he didn't, And you guys know how the Judas are too, right? To get into other members and try to get some conversation from them, they're gonna come and be like, "This guy said," when in reality, it didn't, right? Again, I'm not trying to input that Weddle said anything out of bounds, but in their eyes, in their way of how things were, he did. Just keeping it sincere, Weddle was one of the first ones that openly in court was able to admit that he was a member and of the orders he was giving out, so he was able to go to the feds. That was a problem in itself, his admission in court, right? And that sanction he did up in High Desert that took Davato's life, which, again, it has to do with what we're speaking on right now, right? Or what I'm talking about right now. But anyways, going back to Atejano, right? What happened within time, Boxer's crew flexed up, and of course, Güero's crew, they said Chales, they got at Güero, and Güero said, if they flex up, ram through them, because that's the individual he was. So, they moved on Atejano, and Güero's crew moved on them. That's where the Vato came missing, right? He lost his life, and later on, it was a big admission that Güero did, right? To be able to get his ticket to the feds. And it is why, when they took his wing or his speed in the feds by putting him in Sam status, I think he didn't have that enough wiggle room to start bringing in what he could do to okay things with the Fed faction. As you guys know, he defended Roop's pride, taking off on Negro, and later down the line, again, he who bring out another carnal behind exact thing he was doing in Pelican Bay, which was speaking too much when it came to the squad, to the gang task. So it was like, boom, he gets slammed and they start that politicking, cause Again, he was everywhere, streetwise, system wise. And now he was in the feds, and I don't need to say how, he knew how to do his thing. You got to give the man props when it comes to that, right? But, they take the finger off of how things are. Eventually, the same people he was loyal to the core with, which was his faction of the state, right? Are the same ones that wanted his share of land, right? Because they talk about brother this, carnal esto, but there's no love there. With the quickness they're able to to take you out, or if they're benefiting their pockets, they're gonna let it slide. And those are facts. Because Rube was one of the main ones that pressed on Huero, or was pressing on Huero right before Sam status. And again, Huero was defending him in Victorville. So again, they ended up taking a good camaradas life, not career, but life, and not to mention, you know, all those that jumped the gun with Boxer. Just imagine, when Boxer got found out that he was a rat on paperwork in court, just all the ones that fell with him, and they were ready on that ice scope, right? Because they had gone to war with Weddle at that time. So again, that's all the causa is right now. You know, don't be fed this lies that the causa is this and that, because the causa right now, what it is we're basically collectors, right? We're willing to put our lives online for a dope debt, for a vato's palabra, a vato that in reality he don't really give not a bit about you, man. Cause if it means him keeping clean and a camarada taking the rap for everything, he'll take your win with the spot on the spot. Excuse me. As sneaky, gangster, a couple camaradas that fell with Boxer, right? That they were on his crew that were loyal to him. And what surprises me is that a lot of people come on here and they speak about all these individuals are big time ratas, right? Which I agree, like Chuco, Negro, right? That I just talked about from Artesia, and but really sit down and analyze things. They're the ones that started everything when it came to EME dictating neighborhoods. They were the ones that had the great idea to tax Poppet and 18th Street, and they were the two that said or pressed on, let's do it to every neighborhood. Let's see how far they could let us get. And they started implementing it, Sana and them. And I mean, even them that had that state of mind, well, at least Chuku came to its senses to be like, man, this is just way too out there, I don't want to be part of this. So just imagine how rotten it is inside. If a big old dope fiend rata like himself said I can't be doing this because it's too much out there like that, it's too much venom, right? Mucho veneno. But they ended up screwing the whole car, really. They opened up a window that now is nothing how people play to it to be. Again, we're just runners. Back then, at least a camarada had some sense of authority on the yards, but now, it's only them, and that's it. Of course, if they got someone that owes them on the yard, hey, tú, boogie, bailale zapateado, go ahead and take care of that. If you have a date, if you have a board coming up, at the end of the day, his dope money comes first. And I say this to say, just be smart. Things aren't how at one point were. Even then they were bad, but now it's like, man, Don't waste your life for a myth. Always be true to those that are with you. A lot of people talk about, EME members being, being the pioneers of, please enlighten me on what. I hear it time and time again, but all the true stories that come out are that either happen behind a chirujo over dope, which is 90% of the time, or behind one of them doing a shady sting and dragging the camarada with them. So, pointers of what, but I do understand, I was there, loyal to the bone. Believe me, if I was there, not one had to be present, and his name got spoken out of field. I was that loyal. I was going to speak up. But, again, our own mind is our biggest enemies. I don't deny it to you guys, there's gangsters there, and there's good people, but, in reality, most of them, they don't really last long. But anyways, I wanted to touch on this story, how the rent Huero was getting from a Tejano was worth more than his carnal as boxer towards Huero. And of course, of ordering camaradas to go at it to the point that a camarada lost their life. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter because the orders were wherever you see soldados from so and so, péguenles from both sides. If you see a worker from so and so, go ahead and dance tango with them. It's again, it's all about what they could reach, right? And over an individual that in reality, his ranfla, his car, yeah, the raza, but if you haven't been in the feds with them, or in the feds like in Mexico where they're at, Aztecas, then you have no idea the way they're gonna flex up if they find out you're from Cali, period. For one of them just to feel he has that power to say F-O, that the feria coming in towards me is more important than all that. Miss me with that, right? That ego trip, right? But again, just don't allow somebody to come and paint this picture for you like it's all sugar coated with sugar, right? Cause that's a myth, that's a lie. You're gonna go in there and struggle, period. And for one of them to actually say, "Oh, you earn yours," you're gonna suffer. But anyways, mi gente, I just thought I'd put a story together with you. The reason why I told this story too, cause I do want to talk about the ricochets of, not just Boxer, but when Boxer dropped out, there was actually a couple that dropped out right after him and before, and how they really hurt when it came to camaradas or the avenues that were placed in different spots, and just a lot of things that if you weren't there, you wouldn't happen to see him or hear of, right? Again, when this happened, I was there on Seaside, so I was reading the appeals. As in my last story, I spoke about how they moved on Diablo. I went out to court, but if you guys go back to my stories, I mentioned it. In the feds, Diablo was my celly when he got hit behind, Boo Boo. Again, I'm not gonna speak about a third person's he says, she says stuff. But I send my love. Thank you for giving me your time. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. Buenas noches.